So welcome to Selvage podcast number 3. And we are very excited about all of the things to talk about because this is kind of a special episode.
We have some really cool things going on. We've been hinting about it for the last probably 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it. And you've probably seen all the things out there in the internet world of knitting that are just...
There's really cool stuff coming up, and we're really pumped for Rhinebeck. So this episode's kind of going to be like a Rhinebeck-centric episode. And you guys have definitely seen it out there. The Throwback sweater by ANDREA MOWRY, which is stunning, so beautiful, done in MAGPIE fibers, and the Dream State by SPINCYCLE. So yeah, so that's what we're gonna mainly be talking about today. It's gonna be a little bit different because for the what's on our needles portion, we both have the same thing on our needles, just ever so slightly different.
But I guess that's the beauty of this particular sweater is we have seen so many different varieties.
Right.
The colors you choose, the way you choose to do it, you can really make a very, very different sweater.
Yes.
And I think that's the cool thing about it.
Yeah.
Well, one of the many cool things about it. But
I think the first thing that we wanted to touch base on is the fact that we are lucky enough to be the actual moderators for the Throwback Sweater Knit Along, which is being held over in MAGPIE Fibers Ravelry Group.
So join us.
Definitely go check that out. Join us. In there you can see all the pictures that all of the current participants, all of the different colors that they have picked. There's so many cool things in there. It's nuts.
And also check out hashtag Throwback Sweater Knit Along.
Yeah.
To see some of the really, really cool things. You can also check out some of the test knits that are posted already to see what some of the test knitters have done.
Yeah, this one did a test knit.
I got to test knit the pattern. That's one of the things that I couldn't show you before, but can show you now. I wish I could actually show you the sweater that I test, but unfortunately it was a sample for Damie at MAGPIE Fibers, and it is now out of the country. So
your knitting travels.
My knitting travels more than I do, which is somewhat unfair. But yes.
But hey, at least someone's getting to see the
world,
right?
Know, if it can't be me, I guess my sweater.
I'd like it to be my wool. So yeah, we'll definitely put up pictures. We have pictures of it. You did it in the exact colorway.
The same
because
color.
It was a sample.
Because it was a sample, it was the exact same colors that Andrea designed the sweater in, and they are stunning. She has an ability to just like take colors that when I had them laid out, the skeins of yarn that I had that were given to me, I was like, oh, never would have considered them in my life to put together. But then when they all came together, I was like, oh my gosh.
It's crazy how that can happen when somebody who really understands color, they hand you stuff in the skeins, and sometimes you're like, how is this gonna work? And then you put it together and you're like, oh, well, they were made for each other.
I posted some sneak peeks on my Instagram account, and some people were like, your color choices are amazing. And I was like, I wish I could take credit for that. But I had nothing to do with the colors. That was absolutely all from the mind of ANDREA MOWRY, and they are absolutely stunning.
Speaking of the mind of ANDREA MOWRY, one of the coolest parts about this knit along. So back to the knit along. So the start date is the 21st of September. That's the official, but it's flexible because we know how tempting it is once you already get your yarn. I mean, we know we were tempted. We both already started ours.
Tempted? No, nothing.
We just dove straight in. You get that yarn and you want to just start knitting this project. No, you're good. And so go ahead and start whenever. But do join. Just kind of comment in and participate within the Ravelry group, and you're entered in to win. And then the end date is November 21st, which we know is past Rhinebeck. But because it is a sweater, and granted it is in worsted, but it's still a sweater, can take some people some time to knit it. We want to make sure that we give everyone a fair chance at the prizes.
And a lot of people are picking this as their first sweater to do, and they want to participate in the knit along. And we wanted to make sure that we give a fair time frame to everyone, not just the people who can crank it out fast.
Exactly.
Or, you know.
Yeah, we just want to make sure that it's fair for everybody. But one of the cool things is if you are going to Rhinebeck, we're doing a meetup on the hill on Saturday, October 20th at 2 o'clock, where you get to meet not only the designers, so Rachel and Kate from SPINCYCLE, Damie from MAGPIE, you get to also meet ANDREA MOWRY, the designer of the pattern. So we think that is so awesome. We're excited to meet everybody.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
It's crazy. We're very, very excited.
I want to pretend I'm not like a super fangirl, but I'm a little bit.
We're down. I might embarrass myself a little bit, but I'm okay with that.
A little bit.
Yeah, and we're so excited to see you guys too.
Absolutely.
And see all the colors you guys picked out, see all the different throwback sweaters that are walking around Rhinebeck. We can't wait. And if you're not done, bring your whip. We will still want to see it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, bring the whip because we want to see everything that you're working on.
Because it's such a cool sweater, and it does there's so many ways that you can do it differently, and I am so excited.
Not only within the colorways themselves, but within each skein of each colorway. It can look different.
And we are going to also really be discussing those yarns in depth.
Yeah.
So
we're really, really excited. So please go join the knit along because we think it's going to be really awesome. The prizes have not been announced yet. We're waiting until Rhinebeck to announce the actual prizes as well, but there will be 3 prizes.
And then the winners will be announced of those prizes in November.
Yes, correct. So we just want to make sure that that was clear for everybody.
And please join. And even if you're nervous about working with color work, if you're nervous about making a sweater, if you've
the knitting community is so great, and in the knit-alongs, everybody's willing to help, answer questions, messaging each other. It's wonderful.
This is our second knit-along that we've moderated over in the MAGPIE group, and we just have a great group of people who are all willing to. You ask a question, and everyone in the community, by the time we get around to trying to answer, 4 other people have already answered to try to help.
I know.
Because everybody is so supportive and has a lot of knowledge to share.
Yes.
And it's just absolutely fantastic. Several people on the knit-along right now are talking about this sweater, about the options of steeking it, knitting it in the round and steeking versus knitting it flat.
Which is how it's designed.
Well, let me just tell you, we are not the people to help you with that.
No,
there
not
are
steeking.
A lot of people in the group who have ideas and are sharing their knowledge and trying to help each other figure it out. It's a great community. Please join us.
Please, definitely. And we will put a link in the show notes on the blog. So you will be able to just head right on over there.
So why don't you start and show me what's on your needles?
All right. So I'm going to start with my colors that I picked. So get mine out. I have just completed the color work section and separated for the sleeves. Now, because there are so many colors, I have a lot of ends that will be needing to be woven in. So ignore that rat's nest for right now. But this is these are the colors that I chose. So I am obsessed with how they came together. I think they look really pretty. It kind of almost reminds me of like a sunset or a flame almost.
I don't know, I was thinking like the leaves around here.
Yeah, like fairy fall. I love it. So
I love it on the black.
I know. So I have MAGPIE Fibers Domestic in SELKIE. And so that's my base color. And then for my SPINCYCLE colors, I have this blue that I have in mine. And so blues and greens is Family Jewels. The yellows and greens is Salty Dog. And then the reds and purples are Rusted Rainbow. So I'm going to move up a little bit closer.
See, here's the problem with you and I. We do this every single time we knit the same pattern, which is one of the reasons why we don't often knit the same pattern together. We will do completely different colors and we will look at each other's and get really jealous.
I know, it does happen.
I am obsessed with hers to the point where I want to steal it.
I'm obsessed with hers. So
I think
happens a lot.
Yarn envy? It's just
I think it is just yarn envy. And now I'm like, maybe I'll just make a second one. You can't have too many of these because they all look so different.
So very different.
So this was my first time actually knitting color work flat. I've only ever actually worked it in the round. So I was slightly concerned about how that was going to be for me. But you were literally just doing the same thing back. For me, it was really intuitive. It worked for me. I was happy with it.
I mean, a lot of people have said things on the knit along that they were concerned that it wouldn't be efficient. But frankly, I mean, I understand where that's coming from. I know a lot of people really don't like to purl.
Yeah.
But if you are pretty even with your tension for knits and purls, I think it works out pretty well.
Yeah.
Again, this is my second one.
I think that it was actually easier for me on the floats when I was purling, because a lot of people also tend to knit on that side when they're doing it even in the round. So that's what it felt like for me for the purling side of it.
I felt like it gave you the opportunity when you were going backwards to check the tightness of your floats.
Yeah.
So because you're purling, you're looking at it and saying, and you can kind of
I feel like this was pretty even.
It looks even to me.
Yeah, so so that's mine. And we were also lucky enough that Kate and Rachel decided to actually name some of their kits after the ones that we picked because we were doing the knit along. And so once we picked our colors, they actually took our colors, which I had actually only picked out 2, and they put the Family Jewels with it, and then I fell in love with it, so I ended up adding it. But that was the Sam colorway, and then Kat's sold out like super fast because I'm super jealous of hers. So let's look at yours, and then we'll talk about maybe some more techniques.
So this is mine.
Oh, love it.
I'm using the Strange Brew in the MAGPIE Fibers domestic worsted.
I love Strange Brew.
I do too,
I
and
love
it's really funny because the sweater I showed you guys last week was this exact same color.
It was Vineyard cardigan.
Yeah, the Vineyard cardigan. It's not necessarily the same color. It's a different yarn. Slightly, that one's a more warm honey. This one has some more green,
but they are similar.
Very similar. This is the second sweater I've ever knit in that color. It just happens to be what I showed you. But I was really, really excited about the colors that I picked, which are kind of out of character for me.
They are.
I picked the Heart Sigh, which is sort of a pinkish gray, Nevuary, and Nostalgia, which is like
so pretty together.
And I'm so stoked with how they're turning out.
Yeah, let's get a close up of that.
Of that.
Look at those colors. They're absolutely stunning. Her colorway kit keeps selling out, and it's Kathleen. Is her full name.
That is my real name.
But it is. It's her full name. We just call her Kat.
My parents made it up.
Yeah, because nobody can ever pronounce it when they see it. People get very confused. So we just shortened it to Kat.
So Kat.
Yeah.
Kathleen, the Kathleen color combo.
The one thing that people do keep talking about, actually no, since we're talking about the colors, let's show what is left of our spin cycle.
Because spin cycle yarn is amazing.
Oh my gosh, it's so much fun to
play with. Beautiful. It's so fun to play with. And all of it, whether you're using the Dream State or maybe the Dyed in the Wool or some of the other yarns, they all have this hand spun, very unique quality to it. Every skein is different. You can't get the exact same thing. And so even from the same skein of yarn, you can end up with a completely different look.
Yes.
I actually
where you pull from.
I did it. I actually ended up pulling this out twice.
Weird. She's a perfectionist.
It wasn't even, for this time, it wasn't even about perfection.
I'm just kidding. I pulled mine out once too because I didn't like the colors.
The Heart Sigh has like a really, really bright pink to it. And the way I pulled it the first time, it started bright pink and it faded to gray. And I didn't like how that led the colors. It didn't look the way I wanted. So the cool thing about...
Yeah, let's just look at this pile.
Here, I'll just show you.
Just show the pile.
This is all my leftovers. Well, I'm just going to show you the Heart Sigh. Because see, what I did is I literally just... This is all the same skein, but I kept pulling it apart. And like I'd find, like this is my,
the main one.
The main one. And then, whoops.
But there's some down there. And
some of the colors got too light, so I pulled that out. And then this got a little brighter than I wanted, so I pulled that out. And I ended up working with a strand of it that was really, really, it had a little bit of pink and then it faded to gray, and the gray faded right into the Nevuary purples.
Right.
And then the Nevuary purples faded right into the dark Nostalgia. And I wanted to make sure that I had the exact colors I wanted, so I really did just sort of...
Yeah, I mean, I did the same thing because I kept teasing her because she is such a perfectionist and I tease her about it a lot. But then I came over and I was like, so I pulled mine back out because I didn't like the way that it was fading together. So I also brought my mess that is left of all of mine.
Well, see, yours is neater. You rolled yours back into balls.
Well, sort of, but I was winding them into little balls to kind of put them together to see which ones looked good. This is what's left of mine, and I feel like this is almost like sacrilege, and I'm going to wind them all back up.
Oh, absolutely.
Very neatly to be able to use again.
Pull it up close so they can see what the variety of colors that you have in one skein. Well, that's not one skein, that's three.
That's three different skeins, but there's so much variety going on. See, in my, on my sweater, I have a lot of oranges in here, but I took almost all of those out. And then on the family jewels, there's so much. There's oranges, blues, greens, and then the rusted rainbow. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful everywhere, but I really liked the deep purples, so I pulled a lot of those out.
It's just cool because with every single skein, you have so many opportunities to really customize exactly how you want it to look. And this pattern does an amazing...
I'm excited about.
Yes.
That's what I'm excited about going to Rhinebeck for, is that I want to see people who bought this kit and what theirs looks like, because it's not going to look the same.
No, it's not.
It's going to look different. And I'm really excited about that variety.
And the pattern really takes advantage of that aspect of the yarn.
Yes.
Because it doesn't necessarily call for a lot of the yarn. So you can use little bits of it here and little bits of it there. You don't have to necessarily just let it fade and see. I wouldn't be surprised if someone could just use one skein
And see what that looks like, just fading in and on
Although,
itself.
don't quote me yardage-wise, I don't know how that would work. I don't want to say that and somebody buy one skein and it not be enough. That's,
yeah, you have to do the math.
Do the math for yourself. That was But my point is that you could still get a very distinct fade with the Dream State, and it'd be absolutely stunning. I know there are people who have pulled apart 2 skeins and actually still gotten the 3-color fade.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know what I just realized? You could probably, with the 3 skeins, just get 2 different color bases and make 2 different sweaters.
Oh, that'd be
but using the same.
Because I really want a black one.
Yeah, because you could probably, because you have lighter purples, you could probably get ones that would still pop up off of the black, but with the same colors. That would be really cool.
We're both really excited about
this. I'm so smart. Okay, yep.
Mm-hmm. These are just, and again, as you see them next to each other,
if you see them next to each other, you can see how much further along she is than me.
Oh, well, you know.
She's way faster.
It's not about that.
But they're super awesome. We're so excited about them. Oh, one of the things that people keep talking about, technique-wise, other than the steeking. Again, if you are going to do steeking,
let us know. I want to hear all about it.
Let us know how you did it. We definitely want to hear about that. People are getting a little bit concerned with the puckering that happens because of the drastic increases that are happening. Now, because Kat has done something to change hers, but I do want to show you. If you can show what yours looks like right now, and then I'll show mine because I blocked mine to make sure that it was going to go down.
Now, and you could just see how there's some texture there.
Yes.
There's definitely some texture. I have not blocked this yet, but you can see, because right here, within the main color, you're doing some very, very drastic increases. So it does add to a little bit of puckering.
Yeah. This is, I have blocked it. So the puckering has definitely gone down. Hers will go down more because she was extraordinarily smart and she decided to do something different with your increases.
Well, and here's the thing, because I mean, I did it once before. This is my second time around, and the first time I was crying because
legitimate.
I'm a perfectionist, and
it wasn't
I steam blocked it, and then I was like, oh, I don't know if it's going to be good enough. I don't know if it's going to lay flat enough. I don't know if it's going to be quite right. So I went ahead.
It is nerve-wracking.
It is when you're putting this much time, especially if you're doing it for someone else. And that, I think, was where my anxiety was. I was doing it. I was knitting for someone else, and I wanted it to be right. But it does, even though you're looking at it right now and going, oh, this is a little bumpy, it blocks out lovely. Mm-hmm. And
the magic of blocking.
The magic of blocking. We talked about this before. Black magic.
It is.
It blocks out really well. But what I did this time around, just to kind of alleviate my stress a little bit, Andrea in the pattern says to go up a needle size when you're doing the color work.
Right.
Which is what I did. But the second time around, I actually also went down a needle size just for my decreases. So on the rows where we were decreasing, I went down to a size 7 needle and then up to a size 9 for the color work. And that's made a big difference for me, just because.
So not just a size down from knitting the color work, you went a size down from the main body's 8s.
Mm-hmm. The main body's knit in the 8s. And I went another size down
you went
just for the decrease rows.
For the increases, and then you went up for the color.
Am I saying decreases? I am. I meant increases.
Yeah.
For the increase row.
Yes.
And I just did that. I'm also...
I went up for my color work, but I did not go down to 7s, but I did go back down to my 8s
and
for the increase row.
It's already laying
But I think that yours is going to probably lay flatter, so if I made it again, I would definitely do that.
That's because, I was talking to you guys last week about how I wasn't super happy with how color work was looking, and it was specifically because of that. I was worried that my tension was a little off on the color work. I told you guys last week, color work is not my strength, and it's something I'm working on to improve. Some people, I've seen the other test knitters who did just an amazing job in their stuff. I think that they have probably more experience with color work, and it laid just perfectly flat right off the bat. But if you are new to it, if this whole like purling and knitting your color work has you thrown off a little bit, be patient with yourself, be forgiving with yourself. It really does work out, and it's amazing.
Sorry, I'm over here trying this on.
She's not sorry.
I'm excited. I've been so excited about it.
I'm so excited. This is definitely going to be so super wearable.
Yeah. Very fall. Very, very.
I'm going to steal it. You're going to
steal hers, so it's okay.
It's going to happen. It's okay.
So
that's what's on our needles. I hope it's on your needles.
Yes.
You want to get it on your needles.
You do, and you want to come to Rhinebeck, and you want to meet everybody, and we say hi, and we want to see your color stuff. So, and if you can't make it to Rhinebeck, please go onto Instagram, share your progress, do hashtag
Throwback Knit Along,
Throwback Sweater KAL. So I'll put that in the notes too. But everything's on there. So yes,
that's what's on our needles. And that's what we're super excited about right now.
Yeah. So
we wanted to take just a quick second to talk about the yarns in this particular pattern. I know we're very heavily focused on this pattern, but we're just so very excited about it.
And in the future, we're definitely going to do some other like yarn features. So, and that's what we're going to call this, yarn features. So, but we want to talk about this just because it's what we're using.
Yeah, let's start with the Dream State. We've already explained to you how much we love it because of how it fits into this pattern.
Yeah, and it's new.
It is their new worsted weight.
It's like kind of a light worsted. It is, it's not a very heavy worsted, but it is 100% American wool, and SPINCYCLE dyes and spins in-house. They were actually doing this really cool thing on Instagram. I don't know if you saw, but they were doing introduce the workers.
Oh yes,
so they were introducing all of their workers and telling what their jobs were and stuff. And it was really cool, kind of getting to like see the people who are doing all the stuff with your wool that you get before it gets in your hands. So each skein, like we said before, has so many different colors. No two skeins are exactly alike, but obviously they go together. But they just fade in this really beautiful way. One of my favorite things is to watch when you are actually using a ball winder with these, the color changes.
Oh.
It just looks so beautiful. And it's a really soft, really squishy wool. It's toothy, so it's really good for color work because it sticks to itself really well and it hides the floats behind it. So that's just a little bit about the Dream State, which is their new one. So try to get your hands on some of this. It's wonderful.
Speaking of yarns you need to get your hands on, MAGPIE fibers. This is their bell-bottom blue colorway of the domestic worsted, which is what Andrea designed the pattern to use. It is 100% merino. It's a domestic merino, and it is a really, really great, it's kind of actually a heavy worsted, almost Aran weight.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of squish to it, but it, again, is also very, very toothy, so it holds really well for your color work.
I've noticed, I think that people get nervous about this because it feels kind of crunchy and scratchy at first.
Scratchy is the wrong word.
It's not scratchy.
It's got a crunch to it.
It's got a crunch to it. But when you wash and block these, it softens up so much.
It's such a soft...
Yeah. I have things knit up in this, and you would be surprised at how soft it actually gets while still having a really good, like holding its shape really well.
It holds its shape great.
And also, these would go really well together.
If you want to make a
Family
sweater.
Jewels, bell-bottom blues, if you want to work that into your throwback sweater, just saying.
But it also, for blocking, you were talking about blocking, it grows a lot.
Yes,
this yarn grows a lot, and Andrea writes her pattern specifically saying, knit this much, it's going to grow, this is how much you should knit, and this is how much you should expect it to grow.
I really love how explicit she is with her patterns.
Very much so.
She's very explicit, because she's like, you're going to knit this 9, but once it's blocked, it should be 11. So if you're using a different yarn, you can, but we definitely recommend using this yarn because it is wonderful.
It's wonderful. The color saturation is really fantastic. If you've looked at some of Damie's colors, online or in shop, they just have...
Well, we were talking about color theory and understanding how colors work. Damie is like a master at it. She's really, really good with color.
And you can see when you look at these yarns, when you look at the colors that she has, they're really, really great colors. They're very modern colors. They're colors that you can knit up and put into your wardrobe.
Yes.
Very easily. I mean...
That looks pretty. You should knit something right now out of that.
Right now?
Yeah.
We're kind of busy right now.
Well, I know we're busy, but you know.
So that's a little bit about the yarn we like.
Yeah, go check them out. We'll put links for both of those as well in the show notes. So, all right. And now we're going to do Style Your Knits.
We've got some new things to show you today. And I don't know about you, but I am kind of thinking about things that I'm going to wear to Rhinebeck.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm also like thinking, what else do I need to try to knit before we get there? But I'm trying to figure out what I do have in my wardrobe that I can wear. So.
But, okay, and again, this is our first time going, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I have heard the last couple of years it's been pretty hot.
Oh,
and so having options, I think, is important.
Ooh, I did not know that it was hot. I didn't know that.
Last year, I heard someone was, and again, correct me if I'm wrong. This is just my weird. What I remember. I remember people saying it was too hot to wear a lot of their hand knits. So I was looking at this particular outfit that I put together specifically for.
Oh, very smart.
Yeah, specifically for a possibly hot day at Rhinebeck, maybe.
What are you using your brain?
I try. Doesn't always work, but I try. So I am showing you guys today my May sweater. again, this is another Andrea MOWRY pattern.
Yeah, we're going to be heavy on Andrea today, I think.
Did I mention that I was a fangirl? Sorry. I love this sweater. Again, this has become a huge staple in my wardrobe. It's something that really easily goes into your wardrobe. It's got a very deep V front and back.
I love that on the back.
I love the back. And I think it's great to pair with a strappy bra, some of the really cute little bralettes that are out right now.
Yeah.
I like to show a little bit of back, but also I like to wear this to work. And I have, as you'll see here, I have it paired with a tank top that has a decorative back that kind of gives it a little bit more of it's still a very fun look, but a little bit more modest.
Yes, so it adds some coverage.
Add some coverage so that you can wear it in more than one way, and that's, I think, what I love about this pattern. It's very versatile. You can layer it. You can wear it with...
You can wear it with leggings. You can wear it with jeans.
I've paired it here with a pair of black leggings and my Doc Marten boots, which I love.
Yeah, man, because you got it. Like you said in the last episode, you like to get that feminine, but then some of that masculine quality. You really love that, and it really works for you. It's a really good look.
I like to mix it up a little bit, and this pattern, it does a great job hiding some of your flaws, but also showing some of your, again, it shows
attributes. Yeah,
it shows a little bit of skin.
Yeah.
The pattern itself is really well written. You've got a lot of engaging things going on in it. It has the hem is awesome. It is a high-low hem.
I love that.
That is really flattering. It's got a little bit of give in the hips, so it doesn't just hang. It's got these cute little short sleeves on it. That it's not just a sleeve. It has this ribbing on the edge that gives it a little bit of shape. She adds faux seams to give it a little bit of balance. And probably my favorite part, yeah, you can see that is it's a twisted stockinette stitch the entire time. So while it's a huge piece and you're doing a lot of knitting in the round, it's still engaging because you're doing a twisted stockinette instead of just straight.
Yeah, and it just gives it a little bit of a different quality to it. Then you can see the texture in there.
And I love. Excuse me. Frog in my throat.
Get that out.
It's still there. There we go.
Okay.
There we go. Excuse me. I knit this up in YOTH Yarn's Father yarn, which is, it's a worsted yarn, but it's a really, really light worsted yarn, which is why I think it's going to be such a great wear at Rhinebeck, because it's not heavy. It's surprisingly light.
It is.
And while it's a worsted
got some
weight
waft and like bounce to it.
And this is the Black Mission Fig colorway.
I love their colorway names.
She's got,
they make me hungry.
And she also has so many shades of black and gray, which is perfect for your little soul.
Weird. I don't know what you're talking about.
She's got, and well, she does have other colors, but
right.
She's got so many different takes on neutrals, and I love that. I love having neutral options.
She takes colors and turns them into neutrals almost in a lot of ways. So I love that.
So yeah, that's what I am styling today.
I'm a little jealous that you have that, because if it's hot, now what am I going to wear?
Well, if it's cold, then you're perfectly set, and
that's true.
Not.
Or if it's raining.
Options.
Yes.
The key here is options.
So it has been really rainy here in Maryland lately, and
like hurricane levels of rain.
Right. And it's chilly outside right now.
Finally.
As well. Finally. It was like excruciatingly hot, then it dropped to really cold and rainy, like we're living in Ireland. So Ireland's rainy and cold.
I know. It was just
I'm just saying.
Okay.
I have Irish heritage, and maybe it's like a Freudian slip. I want to live in it all the time. So I have decided to talk about the Weekender, and yes, it's another Andrea pattern. Like I said, it was a little Andrea heavy episode, but that's okay. Now I am talking about the Weekender sweater, which has this hem, which is a little bit shorter in the front than it is in the back. The back's a little bit longer. I love how
split it is on the side.
Yeah, that there's that split seam on the side that's done. I love that we have these faux seams on the front and the back. This is how she uses the tubular cast on for this one, which adds just a really cool edge that kind of comes out of nowhere. Really, really pretty. So the reason I want to talk about this particular sweater is because sometimes when you layer your knits, it can be too big and heavy, or there's too much going on. But with this sweater, it's such a simple silhouette, but still flattering on so many different body types. And if you knit it in a neutral color, like I always do. This is in
what? You neutrals?
Never.
So
this is knit up in MAGPIE Fibers Solstice, which is a DK weight yarn. But often I do replace the Solstice DK for worsted weight. Usually I have to adjust my needle size just by like 1, because there's so much loft and bounce, and it's so soft. It's got like the squish factor. So but it's got cotton in it, and so it breathes, and it's very, very soft, and I absolutely love this yarn. And you can pair this with so many different like scarves and shawls and stuff like that, and it not look too bulky or look like there's too much going on. You can still keep it really simple. So I have paired this with leggings, and
our outfits kind of match this time.
They do a little bit. Hey,
very matchy.
Check that out.
Very matchy.
And this was in the colorway Selkie, by the way, which is what I'm also knitting that out of. Don't know why that went off.
Keep going.
Okay. And so then I have paired it with this, which is the bandana cowl from Pearl Soho. It's a free pattern, and I knit this up in the yarn that it calls for, which is Swans Island bulky, and it's in the colorway Oatmeal. They're not dyed, they're all natural fibers, all natural colors. And this is how I taught myself how to do short rows. I really like this little bandana cowl. It looks kind of stiff up, but when it's on, it looks really cute. And then I paired it with some duck boots for how rainy it's been, and my Starbucks coffee. It actually wasn't a coffee, it was the caramel apple spice, which just is like fall liquefied.
Your whole outfit screams fall.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited for fall, so scream away.
Yes. So that is what I paired mine with, and that is my Style Your Knits. Ooh, the giveaway. You guys have probably seen that on the Instagram. I just said the Instagram. Like,
what are you, 90?
What just happened? On Instagram,
on the
interwebs. So go over there, look at our Instagram for the rules of how to enter. We're giving away
a throwback sweater kit.
A whole kit. You get to make your own. So definitely go check that out. And don't forget to hit subscribe and follow us and see what we're doing, and let us know what you're doing using hashtag Selvage Knits so we can see what's up with you guys. Go join that knit along. Anything I'm missing?
I think that's everything.
I think that's it.
We had a lot today to talk about. Thanks for watching.
Yep, we'll see you next time.